Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Fat Diaries. Today I am your host Zehra and I am going to be doing part 3 on the gastric bypass talk. I don't recommend smoking, I know I shouldn't, but I've had a very rough night and I'm doing these after recovering from a bit of a stomach ache. Yes, it was due to the gastric, but I will explain that more later. Things I should be mentioning. After the surgical procedure, one thing I will always recommend is keeping clean. Keeping clean. I did keep clean, but I still managed to get an infection because, like most women that are on the bigger side, I got a rather big chest, and due to the actual stitches, I wasn't wearing a bra because I didn't want the underwire to rub against the actual stitches. But because of my boob was covering one of the incisions, it was causing sweat and damp and caused a minor infection. Which, if you just go to your GP and they'll give you a course of antibiotics. Yes, I have recorded this straight after the previous episode, so the animals are still playing, but they've calmed down quite a bit. So this is why I'm carrying on. I left. Sorry, skipping ahead beforehand. Few things. When you're in hospital, whatever the doctors say, do. I was awake and having to sit up in my chair almost immediately after coming out of the operation. They got me out of the hospital bed and sitting straight up to start getting me mobile, pretty much like that. Had a friend. I was lucky enough to have a friend to come and visit me. We sat there, watched some TV, watched Friends on a UK channel E4, and but the thing is, we was discussing the episode, and next thing I know, it's an hour later. Yes, because the anaesthetic has not fully worn off, I have fallen asleep in mid-conversation, drooling, looking a bit like this. A few things that obviously I knew before the operation, but I should obviously mention. If you have had the gastric bypass like I have, or you're going for it, you are now living with internal staples that are there for life. So because of this, and they have to fuse and bond with your actual stomach organ, you're not allowed to lift anything for the first month or two after your operation. For me, I had my operation the 2nd of September, and it wasn't until just after Christmas, New Year, that I was allowed to start lifting again. That I couldn't even lift this. A full-size kettle. I couldn't lift it. It was too heavy. It sounds stupid, but if I had, I could have. You might not realise it, but you use your stomach muscles with lifting. Obviously, for some people, that is common sense. But then, lifting and putting strain on a recently cut up area of your body could induce a tear or one of the actual staples coming undone and causing internal bleeding. So there's a lot of risks if you did not follow the after surgical procedure. Post-op, when I was sent home, I was administered a big bag full of medication, containing stuff like omeprazole, calcium tablets, multivitamins, laxatives, iron, the whole shebang. Most of those I am now on for life, the multivitamins especially. I was one of the few that had the allergic reaction to the outer coating of the multivitamins, so I've had to exchange that for a chewable one. I have to have double dosage, so that way it's the same intensity, the same level of vitamins going into my body as if I was taking one of the prescription tablets, as they haven't made chewable prescription tablets, well, except from iron ones, and they are really foul tasting, so I would take them normally. Omeprazole you're only on for the first 3 months, and that is to help control your stomach acid, because your body is still trying to produce the same amount of stomach acid as if you had the same size stomach. And think about it, your stomach is now 85% smaller, So that's 85% excess acid, which can then cause you to be very, very ill. So the omeprazole is there to help reduce that stomach acid and calm that down and give you a stabilize it. When you post-op, you have, well, this was from my what I was told by my consultant. I had a month of liquids, from meal replacement shakes, soups, water, juices, but no fizzy drinks. I do not touch anything that is highly carbonated ever again if you've had any of the bariatric procedures. It can cause your stomach to stretch, and it can cause a lot of pain. So yeah, no go. There's After the 4 weeks of liquids, you then put yourself onto mushy foods like instant mash. Um, some people have baby food, but I was recommended not to because it has a higher calorie intake, and obviously you're having this operation to lower your calorie intake. So um, check with your consultant what they say, but most will normally say baby food is a no-go. I will do an episode on recipes for this period in the future. It won't be part of the gastric bypass talk, but I will do that at some point. After another 4 weeks with this mush, you're then allowed to start eating solid food. Now, this I would be very careful with. Most people have a food they reject, and the food that my body tends to reject is heavy carbs. My favourite thing before the operation was sandwiches. I liked a sandwich. Most people like a sandwich, but I can't touch them now. I can have occasional slice of toast with the crust cut off, but it's too heavy for my stomach, and I'm immediately sick. One thing I recommend, especially if you've had this procedure, and I recommend doing it pretty much all throughout your healing stage, and if you can try and keep it up afterwards, so I would do so. That is, when you do have a drink, use a straw. Something I found troubling at the beginning was I was taking too much air down when I was sipping, and it caused a lot of bloating, a lot of pain, and caused me to actually bring up the liquid that I was taking down. So using the straw helps reduce the air intake and should keep you okay. Every meal has to last a minimum of about 40 minutes now. You need to chew slowly, make sure everything's fully processed, and that you don't just gulp and just swallow things whole, because your stomach is so small and also is so tender after the operation. You've got to be very, very careful. What I can handle now, well, I can't, as I've mentioned before, I can't handle heavy carbohydrates. I'm also not allowed cabbage. I'm allowed to have fully overcooked cabbage, but raw cabbage or like almost al dente cabbage, as such, like mild, like slightly steamed, I can't have, because of what most people don't realise, that cabbage actually produces quite a lot of basically gases when digesting, and this can cause your stomach to stretch. It's actually, when people do professional like eating competitions, they're known to drink a lot of water and eat a lot of raw cabbage to help stretch their stomachs to prepare it for these sort of situations. So even though I like coleslaw, I can't touch it anymore. Other things that I should be mentioning, yeah, exercise wise, once you've had your operation, you normally recommend not to do any stomach exercises for the time that you can't lift. So, but don't use this as an excuse not to exercise. Don't, because there's more exercises than just stomach ones. There's arm ones. Like if you go to your local gym, there's also, they've got like bicycles or armsicles, as I like to call them, that are based just for your arms, to help build your upper arm strength again. Also, you can walk. It sounds so pathetic, but walking. My sister Mooney actually helped me do this. I had a very, very, very low walking speed. I was very lazy when it came to walking. Dancing, fine, all this, love it, but I couldn't. I hate walking. But now, I do not get a bus into town centre. I walk it. It's a 2.5 mile walk, and I've gone from taking an hour to actually taking sometimes 40 minutes if I'm not feeling brilliant. Other times, even 20 minutes, which it took me the other day, which I was quite surprised. Um, yeah, so keeping basically your leg muscles going. Um, the only thing I can recommend is just be careful of your stomach. But the moment you're allowed to start exercise, like lifting and exercising again, get straight on it. The moment it went past New Year, that was it. The workout DVDs came out, the cross trainer was got, and that's it. We've been exercising give or take every day. We've had the occasional bad day, which we have mentioned. We're human at the end of the day, but we do keep it up. I'm going to leave this there. It was nice talking to you again. I shall speak to you soon, and the next episode will be about my experience and my body catching up with itself. So, I shall speak to you guys soon. It was nice talking to you. I will repeat that again. It's always great talking to you. And remember, the future's bright, and the future is slim.